this.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
Well, it's been just a few hours since an Anchorage judge's ruling means the youngest female in Anchorage history convicted of murder will soon go free. And right now, we're about to hear directly from Winona Fletcher's attorney about what happens next.
Our camera in an Anchorage courtroom captured Fletcher's smile as she heard the judge say he was reducing her sentence to 60 years. And this all comes more than 40 years after an infamous East Anchorage triple murder. Fletcher was convicted for her role in killing 69-year-old Tom Fazio. She was 14 when the crime happened. Cordell Boyd was also convicted in that murder. The two also killed Tom's 70-year-old wife, Ann, and her sister, 75-year-old Amelia Elliott. Fletcher's 297-year sentence, 99 years for each victim, had already been reduced to 135 years. Today's decision reducing that to 60 years came after the state's appeals court ruled things like brain development had to be factored into sentencing juveniles. That applies to previous cases like Fletcher's. She served the better part of the last 40 years in prison. Alaska law says someone's eligible for mandatory parole after serving 2/3 of their sentence. The victim's grandchildren were in court today, and they say they're happy to be able to put this chapter of their lives behind them.
We are feeling hopeful that this is done. That's really what we wanted, is to be done with all of this. Our grandparents will not come back, but we are hopeful that we are done with all of this.
And hopeful that this is a turning point for her, and that she, goes and has a great life. And that's the best of both worlds.
As far as Fletcher's reaction, our investigative team's Johnson Kuhn was in court for that resentencing.
And he's standing by with her attorney. Johnson, we've been following this story very closely for years.
That's right, guys. I'm here with Marcy McDaniel. Thanks for joining us. And to my understanding, you've been representing Winona for roughly about 8 years. Is that correct?
Me and a team of others. This has been a dedicated project from a lot of OPA lawyers from the Office of Public Advocacy. And I have to credit Brooke Behrens, our investigator, Lenny Fowler, and other attorneys who've also been working on this case for many years.
Absolutely, I would imagine. It definitely has been a long time. Now, with such historic significance, obviously a very emotional day for so many in the community. First, I wanted to ask if you've talked to Winona and what maybe she's kind of going through right now, what she's maybe said to you.
Actually, I think Winona was so overwhelmed at the end of the sentencing, it was hard for her to articulate much of anything. I think she just wanted to be able to go and to a private area, just sort of process everything that had happened. I know that she's been very grateful, though, for this opportunity to show the public who she really is. I mean, we've had 2 days of testimony from longtime employees at the Department of Corrections, all of whom say that she is just a wonderful person, extraordinarily responsible, proactive, a model prisoner, and someone who they have absolutely no fear of, being released back into the public.
And given that it has taken so much time, I mean, it's understandable that it's kind of confusing when people hear that she served 40 years, but the sentence was reduced to 60. I mean, Can you kind of walk us through, for the viewers at home, what exactly this sentencing means today and just exactly how soon, roughly, she could be released?
So by reducing the sentence to 60 years, which, as the judge said, was really the constitutional minimum, that he could, given the fact that Ms. Fletcher has done such a remarkable job of becoming just a really nice, good person, then that means that when the Department of Corrections assesses how much she needs to be locked up any further, they're going to take off mandatory parole time, because that gets removed if you haven't done any violations in jail and had any of that taken away. She has not. She has a wonderful institutional record, so she'll get credit for all that good time, and she should be released soon, any day.
Okay. And, we've spoken a lot over the last year. Something that I feel like you've always made a point of bringing up is you'll talk about things like sex trafficking when talking about Cordell Boyd and how the public just didn't exactly fully understand the case possibly. So I'm wondering if you can kind of talk to, for anybody in the community who's hearing this, not fully knowing the full story and might not feel that she is deserving of a chance like this, what might you say to them?
Well, it wasn't the public that really got
It was
the story wrong.
The
It
media. I was trying to avoid using the word media, but sure.
It wasn't just the media, actually. The media was reporting on what they were hearing coming out of the court, and most specifically the prosecutor's office. For some reason, and I will never understand this decision, the prosecutor at the time decided that Cordell Boyd was the least culpable and that the whole event, the homicides, had all been the idea of 14-year-old Winona Fletcher who had like zero criminal history except one shoplifting, and not the fault of Cordell Boyd, who had spent most of his youth at McLaughlin, who had multiple prior burglary convictions, armed robbery convictions, and had admitted to planning this home invasion robbery with one of his friends, who he cut out so he could keep all the money.
Right. Yeah.
Because he knew that Winona was not going to make him split anything with him.
So maybe now with this resentencing, maybe people will have an opportunity to fully understand the real situation. I'm sorry to cut us off, but we've got to wrap right now. But thank you, Marcy, very much. Spending some time with us, answering questions, and give our best to Winona. Thank you.
I will. Thank you.
John, Augusta.
Johnson, thanks so much. Now let's get to some politics. 1 week after the special session ended, Governor Mike Dunleavy has been quiet about his executive order to create an agriculture department, something lawmakers said they were ready to oppose in court.
Now, that order needed legislative disapproval for it not to go into law, but legislative leaders said constitutional limitations made it impossible to act. Dunleavy said if lawmakers did not act by the end of session, he would consider it law. 1 week later, we have not heard from the governor, as his spokesperson said they have nothing to add. This is what Senate President Gary Stevens said of the order.
Lawsuits can be a waste of time, but they also make it very clear who's right. And so I think the governor is wrong on this issue of establishing the agriculture department without our involvement. I believe that's wrong, and I believe if he were to do that, that there would be some legal ramifications.
Minority Republican leadership told Alaska's news source they understand the governor's lack of a response to mean the department is considered law. The governor previously said he would not hold any more special sessions before the regular session starts in January. And the sun has been in and out today, but a nice Monday after a pretty good weekend.
Oh, yeah. Chief Meteorologist Melissa Fry joining us now. Melissa, is this sun, is it staying?
We will see some sun breaks heading into the rest of tonight and tomorrow as well. But those storms, they are lining up. We have this next storm system already pushing in from the west. That's bringing some cloud cover tonight at Anchorage, Palmer, Ketchikan, even seeing a little bit of cloud cover. Temperatures right where we expect them to be this time of year, upper 50s and low 60s. Although Fairbanks, that's where the sunshine is. We are seeing temperatures there holding in the mid 60s. High temperatures today, low to mid 60s from south central into the interior into southeast. Again, still pretty warm. It's not going to be much longer. The 60s are normal here across the state. So again, continuing to hold on to nice mild conditions, but we're already tracking this next storm system that is pushing in here from the west. You can see those strong winds there pushing into the western and central Aleutians, and we are going to see wet and windy conditions making their way into the southwest corner of the state, pushing into south central. We are seeing just a few light isolated showers tonight. Similar conditions as you head into the interior, but that moisture is definitely going to increase as we move into the second half of the day tomorrow. We'll see heavier rain moving into Anchorage. Fairbanks holding on to some cloud cover, chances for some light isolated showers there, but still mid 60s as well in southeast with scattered rain showers moving in. Heavier rain for you moves in midweek, and Bethel seeing wet and windy conditions tomorrow. Highs only reaching the low 50s. Now, temperatures are close to normal for early September, but it isn't long until normal is much colder. Meteorologist Bailey Braun has a closer look at that long-range forecast ahead and what is actually normal for fall.
Yeah, well, right now, I mean, we're looking at our first high temperatures that are going to be below freezing, and that's just going to come in about a month for Fairbanks and a little over a month for us here in Anchorage and closer to 2-ish months for Juneau. But as we continue to approach those days, it's going to start to get colder, and that's kind of what we're expecting to see. But those first inches of snow that's going to be coming in, they're really coming up soon if you really think about it. I mean, October 10th is not that far away for Fairbanks, but of course, just a little bit longer than that for October 23rd for us here in Anchorage, and then in November 10th for Juneau. So that's kind of what we're expecting to see. It is a La Nina year for us, and that's what the Climate Prediction Center is expecting, and you can even tell from the blue right here. So that's kind of what La Nina is, and as we're approaching that winter season, you can kind of see that blue start to spike, and then as we start to get through the winter, it's going to start to decline again. So that means cooler temperatures are on the way, and we might see some more precipitation, but of course, we'll have more for you after the break.
Well, a community garden in Fairbanks is expanding to include perennials this fall. That's in addition to fruits and veggies planted each year, and it's thanks to a federal grant.
The Stone Soup Group says the grant is allowing for the addition of perennials to add a variety of new plants to their community garden, including apples, plums, cherries, and more. The garden's manager says local organizations have helped with expansion efforts, including new garden beds provided by the Folk School and compost from Boreal Woods Mushroom Farm.
This garden itself is utilized not just by our kitchen, but just by anybody in the neighborhood who happens to be walking by. It's mostly just picked straight out of the garden from people who need food, who are hungry. And so that's kind of like who we serve as the whole community.
Well, the Stone Soup Group says the perennials should produce fruit in the next few years. The grant, an urban food forest grant from the USDA. And we'll be right back.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.